Good afternoon. This is Dar'shun Kendrick, State Representative for House District 93, which includes East DeKalb and South Gwinnett counties. And I am thankful to the 54,000 constituents that allow me to serve them each and every day in the Georgia House of Representatives ever since 2011. You can follow me on social media. You'll see it's up there, so you can follow me on a number of different platforms. Make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel because my videos will get more and more interesting as we finish out this 2014 elections in Georgia. I want to go ahead and get started. This is in response to the Channel 2 debate for Democratic candidates for Senate, U.S. Senate, that aired on May 17th at 12:30 p.m. And I want to make this short, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've come up with some names for the candidates. We have four candidates. The first one is businessman Branko Rad, or Dr. Rad as you and I call him. Number two, we had strong and sophisticated Steen Miles, who is representing DeKalb County well. We have number three, tough Todd Robinson, who has a military background. And then last but not least, we have Missing Michelle Nunn, who was indicated by an empty podium today at the debate. I want to go ahead and get through some of the highlights. The first highlight was Steen Miles at the beginning. She started the sort of the tone and theme for the debate by calling this election on the Democratic side for U.S. Senate the Michelle Nunn show. And I think that she has some merit in that. Lots of people have been discontented with the way that Michelle Nunn has been propped up as the presumptive U.S. candidate on the Democratic side. And I think that a lot of people are resentful of that. And we need a transparent process, a free process, one where we can choose who our candidates are, not just looking at money. And so that was interesting that she set the tone for the rest of the debate. And she has a lot of people that agree with her. Steen Miles went on to say, when a question was asked on the use of drones, she said, "I am going to defer to the experts." And I thought that was extremely, extremely smart of her because that question could have went in so many directions and set her up. You defer to people who know about those matters, and I thought that was a very wise move and proud of her. A question was asked of Dr. Rad and Todd Robinson, how would you create jobs for military veterans after the war? And this gave a perfect opportunity for Todd Robinson to give an answer based on his military experience, and I thought he did well with that, as well as Dr. Rad talking about how we could create jobs in infrastructure and planning because this is the skill set that military vets bring back to the U.S. After their service time. So they both did well on that question. A question was asked, of course, about how these candidates were different than Michelle Nunn, and Steen Miles remarked, experience. And let's be honest, this is the one thing, or one of the one things, that sets Steen Miles apart, is experience. When I ran for office for the first time in 2011 for the House of Representatives, I had already worked for two members of Congress and worked at the state capitol for 2 years. So nobody can discount people who have experience in this area of making laws because it can be a very complicated chess game. And so I thought that the recurring theme of experience that Steen Miles brought throughout her campaign and throughout her responses was a very, very valid point. And so she said she would bring experience, which Michelle Nunn has no political experience. Dr. Rad also responded to the question about how he was different than Michelle Nunn, and he said he's a small business owner. And let me tell you, as a small business owner myself and representing small business owners through my law firm, it is the most humbling and most skill-intense occupation that you can go through. Being an entrepreneur and a small business owner brings a wealth of knowledge and skill sets, and we also always need business owners to go to Capitol Hill and make policy. So I think that is a strength that Dr. Rad has, and I'm glad that he emphasized that as well. One of the things that I was proud of Steen Miles and Dr. Robinson was doing were they gave specific solutions to the question about how do you fix the Affordable Care Act. Many people know that it's not a perfect bill, but what would you do to change it? And they gave specific examples. I was a little shocked that Dr. Rad didn't have specific examples because I know he has them because I've heard him speak, but hopefully he's able to convey that on his website or social media, or maybe he'll respond to this video post about specific solutions given that he's in the medical medical profession. But I was glad to see that there were specific responses to the Affordable Care Act fixes, because let's be honest, that is the ammunition that Republicans are using. So we need to have a response to that. There was a question asked about the $17 trillion in federal debt. Dr. Redd responded that we need to create and support businesses to handle the debt, which I agree with. And Steve Miles made a very good and interesting point that I totally support, and that is, let's start looking at the amount of aid that we are giving federal governments. We give millions, we give billions of dollars in federal aid to foreign governments, and then when something comes up, we're in this sticky situation. So that's a very, very good point. Let's look at how much money we're giving away if we're trying to balance the budget, as opposed to cutting Social Security and Medicare and leaving those that are most vulnerable to pick up the bill. I thought that was a very, very good point and a good starting point. An interesting question that Steve Miles asked Dr. Redd was the process for creating a bill, and I know she was trying to do that to highlight her experience. The point of that question was to point out that no matter how big your dreams are for creating a bill, no matter how great your bill is, it could be the best thing since Social Security. But if you do not know the process for creating a bill, is good as dead. And so I thought that was a very, very interesting point. For all you candidates out there running for any legislative type seat, you have to know the process for creating a bill, for making something that is just a bill and making it and carrying it through the process of becoming law, because it can get complicated and you have to know what you're doing, because it is a chess game. Closing remarks, Dr. Redd remarked that we didn't need any former politicians to send to Washington, which I thought was interesting, because David Perdue on the Republican side is having a similar sort of theme through his campaign. Some people say it's good, some say it's bad. I'll let you determine that. Dr. Robertson said it was a little too excited, as I said before. And then Miles said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over, and don't let the money win. So thank you for listening to my video, and please give me any comments and any likes. Please share. Thank you.